Hi everybody, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 12th of August going through until Sunday the 18th of August 2019. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to give you a rundown of every day this week and what the astrology is about and how you can expect the energy to be and how you can work with it and how you can make the most of the week and how you can have a good time and celebrate and not fall into the traps that are there. So the main theme here for this week, I've looked at it and I've deduced what I think is going to happen here this week. And I think that the first couple of days are all about love of self, my life, how can I improve my situation, my circumstances, how can I do things that will serve me better, to going from the love of self to the love of others later on in the week. So if you feel like you need a lot of self-care and you need to really do something with yourself, it's now time to support yourself. It's like, hello, all these people giving to charity, how about giving to me because I'm desperate and in need as well? If you're in that situation, then this is the time to plan your future and to really make the most of yourself. See yourself as you'd like to be, okay? So if you don't feel like you've made it in your own terms, like you're not where you want to be quite yet, which is about 99% of most people, because most people want to live in a nice house, don't have to work super hard, have money, be able to have fun with friends and family. We all want the same things, really. So most of us aren't going to be there quite yet. So use the first half of the week to allow yourself to be guided to get to that place, and then the second half, let yourself be guided in terms of how you can help others. And again, what you put out, you get back. So by helping others, others are going to help you. So on the 12th of August, on Monday, we've got the moon in Capricorn. And I posted a funny meme of Capricorn on my Instagram. Instagram is Gregory Scott 444. And there's this Capricorn hanging onto a wall, just hanging onto it. I don't know how he's doing it. This huge animal just clinging onto a tiny little crack in the wall. Capricorn climb to the top. They do not give up. They don't take things lightly or lying down. They're just like, okay, I'm going to fight for what I want. And the moon is the most sensitive part of yourself. And it conjuncts, so it blends its energy with Saturn and Pluto, also in the sign of Capricorn. Saturn is about structure and security. Pluto is about changing that security and adding things to it to make it feel more encompassing and whole. And the moon in Capricorn, it wants to ask you, how can you work to make this a reality? What can you do to make this be something? The moon also sextiles Neptune and Pisces, so you're fully connected to the light of what you want to be. Like for instance, in the Hobbit film, there's this elf, Kate Blanchett. She plays Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings and then The Hobbit. And they made her this ethereal, amazing creature. And in the second installment in The Hobbit, which was 3 films I think, they made her seem so beautiful and so untouchable that she wasn't even real. Like when she stands on this thing with the crescent moon just lighting her up. And put yourself on that kind of pedestal and see yourself as you want to be, as this majestic creature. Do you just want a simple life? Do you want to just see yourself in the arms of another person? What is it that you want? Okay, because Neptune, your dreams, your imagination, is going to be right here. And all of this other earth stuff allows you to make that a reality. So on Monday, the 12th of August, you have the opportunity to give your dreams and your desires form So you can manifest them, and you can do that in pretty much all areas of your life. Love and career and finances and physical appearance, health, on and on. On Tuesday the 13th of August, we've got the moon going into Aquarius at 3:37 in the afternoon. Now, Aquarius is more focused on other people, so we're starting the shift now slowly into looking from the self and looking towards others. The Aquarius moon opposes Mercury, the communication planet, which is in Leo, which is about the self and having fun and being a leader and being in charge. The Aquarius moon squares Uranus and Taurus, so there's friction between the chaotic, eccentric planet Uranus and the Aquarius moon, which wants order. And the sun in Leo, sun rules Leo, so the sun is as happy as it's going to get. You're going to feel as excited and energized as you're going to feel. That conjuncts the planet of love and beauty, Aphrodite, and she's in Leo as well, so love at her most passionate and adventurous. So on Tuesday the 13th, you don't care about logic whatsoever. What you care about is love and intimacy and passion, and lying naked on the shore of the lake with your loved one and just enjoying yourself and enjoying your body and enjoying the kindness of other people and the relationships you've built, and just enjoying the simple magical things in life. On Wednesday the 14th of August, the sun in Leo, still very bright and happy, still conjuncts Venus in Leo, so love is sizzling and the temperature is rising as far as romance and attraction is concerned. The Aquarius moon still squares Uranus and Taurus, but today it also sextiles, so it forms a harmonious relationship with Jupiter in Sagittarius, and Jupiter is the lucky planet. So Wednesday is more love, and love of exploration, communication, teaching, learning, discovering new things, love for other people. It's just a day where you feel like you want to share your insights with other people because you respect them and you care for them, and you want to also have personal moments with people who you truly love on an intimate way, on an intimate level, and you want to have some time with them. So Wednesday is about making time for love in your life. So the options on Wednesday may seem really extreme. It may seem to be love or chaos. And if you're going to go with love, you're going to feel less rattled. If you feel like, okay, all of this chaos, let me see what chaotic thing is coming up in my life today, that is going to make you feel somewhat rattled, because you're putting yourself kind of in the eye of the storm, although in the eye of the storm you wouldn't be at risk. You're putting yourself out into a storm, and this love of self and love for other people on Wednesday, when it kind of forks, that's the shelter that you can use to keep chaos at bay. So from Monday to Wednesday, be in love with someone or something or some activity. What is it that you enjoy doing? It'll come up again. Give into that love and say, yes, I will do this. Like, if you love to write blogs and you haven't written one in a while, and it just comes up in you, this idea, why shaved heads are better on women than women who have hair. And you just write this amazing blog about it, and you're like, yes. So it's important that you take charge of your life, because it's an interesting energy. It's love and being in touch with your hopes and dreams. But it's also like, I want to keep chaos at bay, and I want to make sure that nothing goes awry, that we don't forget to put a wall on one side of the building kind of thing. You know, it's really like, I feel like this is a treacherous, uncertain time for me. And that just adds to the spice and the severity of everything. Because if the two of you, you're in this amazing relationship and you're together in bed, and if you don't know that whether this is going to be the last time you see each other or not, is going to make that moment so much more important. Because it has that uncertainty built within the situation, so it makes it more exciting and wow, what's gonna happen here. So the unknown can be exciting, and apply that to the things that you love for the first half of the week, and that's the best way to have a wonderful time. If you try and focus on all the things that are incorrect at the moment, like, and try and get order from chaos, I would leave that until the second half of the week, because you get better now. First of all, on Thursday you have a full moon in Aquarius, and a full moon is when you're showered with the moon's energy. I'm going to make a separate video on the full moon to give you more info. But Aquarius is an air sign, so it's about ideas, it's about creating a bridge, it's about sharing ideas, learning, teaching, doing things for humanity. Being someone who's like a shepherd, a leader, someone who has the greater good in mind. So if you're trying to reduce chaos in your own life and in the life of other people, then waiting till Thursday where there's a full moon and that energy just is bubbling up inside you naturally, use it then. So the full moon in Aquarius opposes Venus in Leo, so self-love, and Mars, the male principle of desire and drive, also in Leo, I want love, I. So there's now this opposition, and on Thursday is the tipping point where we're going towards love of others rather than love of self. So Mercury is in Leo, that trines Chiron in Aries. So just before I look at this, what I'm getting and what I'm being told intuitively is that if you do go the route of me, look at me, I want all the attention, you're going to rediscover a wound that you can then identify and spot and recognize and heal, or you'll be wounded in a new way for the first time today. Like, someone will say to you, does it always have to be about you, or you're such an attention seeker, or someone will wound you in a way that you haven't been kind of clocked as, or you haven't been identified as something. And if you make your whole life about you during this full moon in Aquarius, people are going to label you as self-involved or selfish. So the full moon basically is about love for other people and being shown that life isn't just about you, that there are other people around. It's a really like after school special kind of boring full moon. It's like, it's not just about you, other people are around too, so let's all share and let's all be nice. Yeah, we know that, but we also know that that doesn't really work. So by recognizing that, and by being told that, okay, it's not just about you, it's about other people as well, but then having that cynical side of yourself saying, well, the rich get richer and the greedy don't share, and the poor are just poor and no one's going to help them and they're in the gutter. And what you realize with that is, because of your understanding of how the world works, you've been around for a while now, that you as a solo human being, as one person, you can have a positive impact on other people by doing things for the greater good and by sacrificing some of your own positive things. So investing your own money, or spending a time away from your kids to volunteer in a different country and to hand out clean water, or to be part of food drops, things like that. So Thursday, you realize that you alone, independently, you can do something that's going to help other people. So if you've wanted to do something for others, if you've wanted to be a humanitarian for a while but you haven't quite found your niche, listen on Thursday and you'll get it. It will very much speak to your life purpose as a humanitarian. And all the humanitarians watching, this is your week where you'll be like, yes, we do charity and that's great, but a lot of the money that we raise doesn't actually get to the poor people we're raising it for. A lot of it is siphoned off by corrupt politicians and corrupt institutions that are taking a lot of the money, and I'm going to involve myself and do something about that to make sure that the actual funds get to where they're supposed to go, as an example. Okay, so you can see this major shift of love of self to love of other people. On Friday the 16th of August, the moon goes into Pisces at 3:51 a.m. and intuitively I'm just being shown the off switch of the main power grid. Okay, it's just like, we're going to sleep now. Robot resting. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's about spirituality and completion. It's psychic, it's connected spiritually, it's artistic and creative, and it's self-sacrificing. But it's also incredibly reflective and insightful and self-aware. So the energy levels from Thursday to Friday are going to go from up here to down there on Friday. Mercury is in Leo and it squares Uranus and Taurus. So Mercury, the communication planet, is loud. So that's contradictory to how you feel internally, because internally you feel quiet, you feel at peace. And this loud Mercury screaming against the chaos planet Uranus and Taurus, saying, I don't want things like this, I want them to look like this, that's not going to help your peace of mind. The Pisces moon also sextiles Uranus and Taurus. So the best way forward, rather than kicking and screaming, is that you go inwards and look for inner guidance and wisdom rather than just what you want. Because if you just please yourself and you just get what you want, yes, that's fine, but it's not going to help other people, and you've got an opportunity to find a way to placate others and to reduce chaos in your life and to make other people very, very happy so that they're on your side. So instead of just listening to your grand ideas and you being fabulous and painting a picture of yourself on every one of your employees' office wall so that they can see their wonderful boss smiling down at them every second of every day, maybe that may not be the best idea. Maybe giving them a holiday package as a Christmas bonus would be really nice. Like a week off in February where they go to a spa and they can invite their partners as well if they want. I think your employees would be much happier with something like that than seeing your gorgeous face. So listen to the guidance and the wisdom that's coming in, and it's really going to help you calm things down in future. On Saturday the 17th of August, Mars enters Virgo. Mars is the male planet of drive, desire, ambition, competing, and in Virgo he's pretty critical. It's like, you're not gonna win because you can't act, you're too skinny, you're too tall, you don't look trashy enough, you do look trashy enough, plus you've got that X factor, you're gonna win. Like that. It's really like cold and cut and dry. It's like, this is the best fit, this information matches what we're looking for exactly, so let's go for that and let's make a deal. It's not about sorting things out, it's interested in perfection. It's interested in having the perfect thing delivered, and anything else is irritating. So you know the that film The Devil Wears Prada, where Meryl Streep plays Miranda Priestley. Can't believe I know all these names. and she plays the editor of Vogue. And she just, the way she kind of rules is everyone's scared of her, and she never raises her voice, and she asks for something to be done, and if it's not to her liking, then she's like, why is it so impossible to get a plain, stylish picture of a woman in a bikini in summertime? What is it that is so difficult about that? Like, what am I not saying to communicate and articulate what I want? It's really like, so when you're spoken to like that, it just makes your blood boil, because it's just like, well, I'm not a mind reader, that's why, Miranda. Like, a woman with a bikini on a beach, that could be a bikini with tassels on it, her hanging off a palm tree, or going swimming and playing with her dog, or it could be her posing in a neon bikini. What is it gonna be? Don't get all disappointed and sulky. Explain your vision. Exactly. Explain what it is you want us to do. And Virgo is really not good at that. It hates to explain itself, and it just wants people to get it. And if you've said it once, that's far too much. You don't need to explain yourself as a Virgo, okay? So the Mars going into Virgo for the next couple of weeks, just become really aware that you may be a little bit overly critical and a bit much. Because if you realize that, then you're going to be slightly self-aware, and you're not going to go into that critical mode so heavily and without any kind of self-awareness. The Pisces Moon conjuncts Neptune in Pisces, so we're in water season. We're talking about our feelings and spirituality and creative things. The Moon sextiles Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, so nothing is set in stone, everything can be changed. We realize we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Everything is fluid, we can change things as we desire them. And it squares Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it says, work with what you've got here, don't go traipsing off looking for things elsewhere. So on Saturday, you become really focused on managing practical matters to the best of your ability. That's Mars in Virgo. And you find new ways of serving people, which is a kind of roundabout way to serve yourself and fulfilling your life mission by using your vocational aptitudes and really finding a way to be of service to humanity in a way that you love being of service, something that makes you feel fulfilled and alive, and then you're ticking all the boxes. You're fulfilling your own mission and you're helping humanity, which is what we need right now. I saw something about The Family on Netflix. It's this thing about how there's a secret club in America who train these kids to have to just be kind of put in this elite kind of put up in this elite, almost like ambassador's residence, and they learn about Jesus and they're groomed for power. And the common thing that they have that holds them together is Christianity and Jesus, but a particular notion of Jesus and a particular type of Jesus. And it's like a cult, but not. It gives you access to all the people you need to know to get things done. You know, you grow up with, or you're trained with all the people who you need to know to be in power. Now, most of us don't go through things like that. Most of us have not been chosen. That's the big thing about the Netflix thing, that certain people are special, and it's those special people who need to do the leading, and it's the sheep and the normies who just have to be ruled over. So they talk about Jesus like he had ways of ruling, like the 12 disciples and the 12 circles of what's important, and it's not for everybody, it's for the select few. And you can prove that whole thing wrong, because that's always the that's always been the problem with religion and any kind of ideology, that like Animal Farm, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, you know? And it's like, yes, Jesus loves you, but now in this family sort of situation, he loves you more because you're one of his chosen people. It's always that thing, it's like we're better because we've been chosen. And that's why our way is especially right. So on Saturday, you can be of service to humanity by finding what you're good at, but what finding your life mission is, what your vocational aptitudes are. And you can also be a humanitarian by educating people about that no one is special in the eyes of some religious god. Everyone is special. Everyone's the same, and that as soon as we isolate ourselves into these little clubs to try and manipulate the world so that only the people we want to be in power are in power, it's all going to work itself out at the end anyway. So you may get someone out of that thinking of, yes, I'm the chosen one, I'm the special one, so I don't have to treat other people with respect or dignity or even care about their life because I'm special, I'm above all of this. And it's so dangerous to teach people that kind of thing because compassion goes out the window, empathy goes out the window. It all becomes very abstract, you know. Oh, other people are starving, well, they're not the chosen ones, so their hunger must feel differently to my hunger. No, you being hungry is exactly the same as anyone else being hungry on planet Earth. So on Saturday you can kind of illuminate that for some people. If you know people who are in your life who are like that, you have an opportunity to, I don't know how that would look. You don't lecture them about it, but maybe demonstrate it. On Sunday, the 18th of August, we've got the moon going into Aries at 4:34 in the afternoon. The Aries moon then conjuncts Chiron in Aries and quincunxes Mars in Virgo. So we've got a real shift of energy here from water and earth now to fire and earth. So the moon in Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's about let's get things moving, let's get things going. Maybe you learned something Friday, Saturday about yourself and the way you want the world to be. And that's why Sunday is a day of renewal and you're full of energy and excitement. And you have something in mind that you'd like to work on that goes towards healing and making things better for yourself and for other people. And it can be totally abstract and complicated. Like that example I used with this cult's education thing. How would you go about that? Like, you would go about looking at who's in this family, deciphering the influence they've had, you know, seeing if it's positive or negative, looking at who's still running the show behind the scenes, how to be more transparent, how to run a real, how to really run a country or a government or an organization really for the people who are in it rather than for the organization or the country itself. It's really difficult, you know, because the best thing of ruling we've found so far is democracy, and democracy is very flawed, as we can see, but it's still better than all of the other systems we've got. So, you know, we're alive for a reason, and we're alive right now because we're the people who are going to define this time on planet Earth. This is what was changed in 2019 and 20. So like in 1990s, attitudes towards LGBT people changed as an after effect of the AIDS crisis. That's part of history, right? But now, this week, in August 2019, societal attitudes towards global warming or climate change started to change because of the actions of one Lucille Silverton from El Paso, and what she decided to do on that day. So you can be you can go from loving yourself, and that fires you up, and you can go and take that flame and put it into the public sphere, into the limelight, and that's where you're going to really be able to create organizations or start missions with other people, or start a cause, or get people to believe in something, or allow people to rediscover themselves, to figure out who they are, what their inner child feels like and what it's doing. We're powerless over people, places and things. We can only help people who want to be helped. And in the second half of this week, you have the ability to bring things to light and to bring things into the public arena, into the public sphere, that are going to have a genuine effect on the culture. And if there's anyone in power watching this, then what are you going to change that is going to alter the way society works? Are you working on a new way of government? That means that every person has a say. In 2020, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter meet. Okay, and Saturn and Jupiter meet once every 20 years. It's called the Grand Conjunction. And Jupiter is the lucky planet and its expansion and growth. And Saturn is the structure and the security. And whenever Saturn and Jupiter conjunct each other every 20 years, something tests the structure of humanity. So in 1981, we had HIV/AIDS. That really tested the human race and whether we were going to survive this epidemic. In 2001, Saturn and Jupiter conjuncted again. We had 9/11, and that changed views and attitudes towards security. And you know, the land of the free had never been attacked before. Pearl Harbor, but in earnest, you know, continental America, and especially on such a profound level, had never been attacked that way, and it shook the foundations of America and how they saw themselves in the world and how they were going to survive. Now in 2020, 2021, we've got Jupiter and Saturn meeting, but we've got Pluto in the middle of them. And that happens even more rarely, because Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, transformation and change. And I really feel that the structure of the human race is going to be tested through climate change. I really feel that. I feel that over the next couple of years, we're going to really have a lasting outcome on the planet's health and the well-being of Mother Earth, even though she has magical ways of regenerating herself. But I really feel that over the next couple of years, we're going to do something that tests our presence here on planet Earth, and whether that's going to be ongoing, and whether we're just going to keep going and going and going or not. And I feel the structures of our intelligence and our civilization and our notions of what's right and wrong are going to be tested fundamentally and shaken to the core. I really think that something fundamentally is going to change the world in 2020, and we're really going to see things differently. And I hope it's something positive. And when you look at these difficult things that happened, you know, there's always, like the HIV/AIDS thing, I don't think that gay people would have the rights, unfortunately, that we do today if it hadn't been for HIV/AIDS, which is a terrible thing to say, because it took the death of millions and millions of people for some people to pay attention to this unpleasant, marginalized group of homosexuals who no one wanted anything to do with, who no one wanted to talk about, who no one wanted to even, you know, taboo subject. You wouldn't bring it up at dinner. It was just, how crass. If it hadn't been for this major illness that people stood up against and fought for healthcare and rights and medical attention, all of that stuff, that we actually came into the public eye. So ask yourself, who's being marginalized right now? What is really under threat right now? And how is that going to test us in future? And that's what is coming up. And therefore, your kind of humanitarian antennas ought to be picking up right now and saying, okay, I'm part of the times that I'm living in. The zeitgeist is very much alive and something is going to happen. So we've seen a relative period of stability and peace and the way things are in one way for a long time now, and something's going to change in future, and I'm going to get ready. I'm going to try and be a positive influence in the world of men and women, by tuning into that and trying to figure out what's coming up and how we can thrive as a species, or what I personally as a solo individual can do to be of service to other people. And I think if a lot of us think about this during this week in August 2019, we'll be given a glimpse of what will happen in future and how we can be a part of making that better for everyone else, or what we can do to avoid the situation altogether. I initially thought it was going to be something like technology or artificial intelligence that really alters the way that we communicate, or it's like chips that are implanted so that we can feel each other's feelings and thoughts without having to communicate. But I don't think it's technology. I think it's the fundamental basis of our home and what our home means to us and who we are. And you know, people always say that, oh, aliens, when the aliens come along, then humanity is going to unite because we'll have an other to compare ourselves to. And I think that's too easy. I think the way humanity is going to evolve is going to be to realize that, yes, we quibble and we can't even leave the EU, for God's sake, in the case of Brexit, in the case of England. People have been working on that for months and years. They can't do it. They can't even agree on something like that. How is humanity going to agree to keeping the planet alive? How are you going to enforce that? It's impossible. How? Unless everyone is on board and really makes a promise. But some people can't read. Some people can't write. Some people have no understanding. How are they going to understand that everyone has to save the planet? And that's why I think it's such a test. It's going to be such a tough test of of our future, really. And that's why certain luminaries in people are going to arise out of these times that we're in by starting to spread a different message. And as your astrologer, I would say that the times are changing. I'm feeling the winds of change starting to blow in the atmosphere. And I'm just saying that try and see your life as it is now, and don't take it for granted, because I feel that things might change significantly in our day-to-day experience in future from next year onwards. So that doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but it means that we're entering a new age, which we kind of do every 20 years. But this one is going to be even more significant because of Pluto. And on the plus side, it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. Maybe it's our golden age where we discover that we can all connect to the higher realm and we can all love each other, or that we find some common ground somewhere. Or it can be death and destruction, like something else has to go so that we can regenerate and learn from it and make it better. I can't say which one it's going to be, but I certainly hope it's the phoenix rising from the ashes so that we show off our best rather than our worst. But who knows. So that's what I got for you for the week and that major conjunction next year. I just wanted to, I didn't plan on talking about that, but it's just something that's coming up and I've been aware of. And it's really going to put things under the microscope, and I think it's good to be prepared for that. So I hope you have a wonderful week here, and listen to your own thoughts and your own guidance on what you can do for humanity in future, and you'll get something. And really enjoy the love of self and others at the beginning of the week, and have loads of fun and just have a lovely time here in the summer if you're in the northern hemisphere. So I hope you have a great week. If you'd like a personal reading with me, then head to gregoryscott.com and click on the readings tab to audio reading. In my personal readings, I use tarot, astrology, and numerology. The astrology I draw up by using your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where I work out your time of birth. Then I get a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. That tells me about your life purpose, whether you're a humanitarian or not, whether you're here to educate and save humanity, what your vocational talents are, so what you're going to be good at work-wise. How I believe that every person has been given a talent work-wise that they can use to be independent here on planet Earth and to thrive. So I can show you that. I can show you what's destined in finance and romance, relationships, travel, where to live, where the best place is to live, fame, career, spiritual development and progress, relationships with siblings and with family, and with future family and with your own kids. And if you have any questions about what's coming up in future, I can look at your predictive astrology for that. And I use the tarot and the numerology to see what's coming up in future. And again, I'm an intuitive astrologer, so I read the symbols, but as I read the symbols, I get messages come in, and I listen to those messages because it's my intuition ultimately that I'm trying to get to, and the divination systems open that door to my intuition, and the messages I get from the intuition, I always take those as really important because those come directly from the collective unconscious. So if you like the videos as well, then hit subscribe and share the video, please. That would be fab. If you want a personal reading, gregoryscott.com, click on readings. Check out some of the daily tarot readings, these weeklies, the monthly horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac, and the yearlies for each specific sign of the zodiac. Check those out. The new moon and the full moon videos that I make. I'm going to make a full moon video on this full moon in Aquarius in a minute. Have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you soon.